how many of you are building products that are going to need users or that have users or you want more users? No one. Some people. Building things, need users, need product market fit. No, most people don't need that. All right, I guess we're not doing this. Never mind. No, I'm just kidding. There's a sense that comes up every time we're in a bull market that there's some other way to grow your project other than genuinely trying to get product market fit. That you can get this KOL to hype your project, that you can buy off this group of people to make it seem like your block space is getting used up. And maybe that works for one cycle. And if your goal is to cash out after one cycle and get out of the crypto space, great. But if you want to build something that actually matters, that lasts for the long term, and that grows and builds community and builds more value over time, the way to do that is to market to try to get product market fit, as opposed to hype and pump alone. And so that's what I want to talk about. I got my start in the space working on Ethereum, started in 2015, was chief marketing officer at Consensus, where we brought Ethereum to market, along with MetaMask, Infura, Truffle, Gitcoin, a lot of other things that really work in the space. Then started Serotonin, which is one of the world's largest crypto marketing agencies. We work with a lot of the leading projects in crypto, where we implement a whole bunch of these strategies. So I want to go back to a quote from Chris Dixon from A16Z about marketing in Web3. Web2 is built on advertising. Big companies like Facebook and Google make most of their money on advertising, and many Web2 startups build their customer base on ads. When you build a business on advertising, the theory is that if you retain enough customers, the long-term economics work out and you'll eventually be profitable. Web3 takes a different approach by letting users and builders participate in the growth of the networks as genuine owners. That means you no longer need advertising. Tokens are self-marketing. When someone genuinely owns something and feels skin in the game, they want to evangelize it. So we're going to talk about marketing as a protocol, a set of actions that you can do repeatedly. We're going to talk about how Web3 changes the normal marketing game. And we're going to talk about building community in Web3. And the themes here are going to be aligning incentives, solving for the 0 to 1 problem or the cold start problem, and then getting product market fit in Web3. So these are the fundamentals of marketing, regardless of whether you're in Web 0 in the physical world or whether you're in Web 2 or Web 3. You start by really getting to know your product. We have a lot of builders in the audience today, so you should understand every bit about how your product works down to the electron level. Then knowing your audience. Who are the people that would actually use your product if only they knew about it? They exist somewhere. If your product is going to get fit. You want to learn very quickly if they don't and pivot. Identifying your audience channels. So what is your audience actually paying attention to? What is their awareness knocking up against? Then it's defining a key message. How can you describe what you've built on those channels in a way that resonates with that audience? And then it's building a marketing funnel. So there are actually a bunch of steps. Discovery, which is the first moment where a user learns about your product. Engagement, the second step, where they agree to have you contact them again. So maybe you've signed up for, you've followed an account, maybe you've signed up for an email newsletter, in some way you've made yourself contactable again. Then you convert people to start using what you've built. And then you try to retain them so they don't leave, so they don't go to another application, so they don't just stop using it. And you can ideally send people from the bottom of the funnel in retention back up to the top of the funnel, discovery, through something like a referral or an ambassador program. So you build that marketing funnel, then you measure how it's working. Each of those steps, you can measure how it's going. Each of those catalysts, almost like a water pipe, if people are falling out at a certain spot in that funnel, you can monitor and see where it's broken, and there you can A/B test and try to fix something. So those are the fundamentals that work no matter what. Let's add Web3 to that. So what is Web3? Web3 is a set of tools for building incentive-aligned communities. And an incentive-aligned community can make a project like the Chris Dixon quote, self-marketing, and that's going to let you reach a greater scale more efficiently. If we're in Web 2, basically marketing is an arbitrage between the cost of customer acquisition and the lifetime value of the customer. And that arbitrage takes place on these third-party platforms like Google Ads, like the various Meta business suites. But the idea with this is that you could build value more sustainably over the long term without needing to pay the piper by incentivizing people from the grassroots up. So, what is marketing in Web 3? It's building a system. You don't build the product, you don't figure out exactly how you're going to launch a token and then try to slap marketing on later. Marketing is part of that system for shared values, interests, incentives, and goals that you're programming in from day one. Then you're solving the 0 to 1 problem. How do we actually get people into that system? How do we get our users in through the top of the funnel toward the bottom? And then it's decentralizing. So the ideal outcome isn't building an 1,000-person centralized marketing department if you're building a true Web3 product. It's moving those functions the same way you decentralize your contributions to the code base in an open source project. That same way you're decentralizing marketing to your community. It's a similar idea for probing for product market fit. We get a lot of clients at Serotonin that come to us and say, we want to reach 1 million users everywhere all around the world, but they don't even have 5 users yet. You have to start probing for product market fit, doing things that don't scale with the people that are the closest to you, using that conversation, using that moment that is marketing itself of explaining your product, seeing how that goes, seeing if you can convert someone to get excited about it or start using it, and refine your message and your product from there before you go outward in concentric circles to pursue more scalable marketing strategies and try to reach more people. So those few people that you identify that you already know that are in your target audience group, those are your early evangelists. They're the people that are going to help you get the word out about what you've built. Then those people become your number one fans, and then we can talk about concentric circles, going mainstream, going global. The cold start problem, when you start an application, you don't have any users yet. And we get a lot of people saying, well, how do I get users from 0? You reach out to the early evangelists you know in your target audience group, and they're the ones that can help you grow. Either they're open to using and being excited about what you've built or not. And if you can't find anyone you know that wants to use it and that gets excited about it, keep on iterating until you can. Then using organic influencers to spread the word. Don't assume that the first thing you do when you start building is pay for expensive KOLs. It's about incentivizing the kinds of people that actually have some sort of alignment with your project to go out and spread the word about it. See yourself as a facilitator looking around your early community for what they're naturally, organically doing and trying to blow oxygen on those sparks to grow them into fires, as opposed to assuming you have to have all the good ideas yourself. And then using Web3 native strategies. We all know about points, we know about airdrops, but basically the blockchain itself is a great CRM, customer relationship management. You can use it to retarget people that have done a kind of action on chain before or joined another community or project before that would be interested in yours. You can use the blockchain itself for targeting and for reaching audiences. Community in Web3 is really just that incentive-aligned group of people that works together toward the success of your project. So you get builders, you get investors, and you get users, and those 3 categories have bright line distinctions around them in Web 2, but Web 3 collapses all of them into a single category that we talk about as community, because in this world, we can have a builder who acts as a user, we can have an investor who participates like a builder. Forming your early community is so important when you start building, because if you think about it, 5 years later, 7 years later, if your community is full of bots, if it's full of when token, when moon kind of energy, the kinds of users you actually want that care about contributing to your project are going to be turned off. So you want to make sure you gather your genuine early evangelists around your project and be really thoughtful about your early community. How we talk about this at Serotonin is sometimes imagine a spaceship from outer space comes in, it descends its ladder, and it pulls up 20 people to go and form a new civilization on their planet. They're stuck with those people forever. So think about that as yourself and your project. Bringing your early community onto your various platforms. Those are going to be the people that your project has for a long time that other people later on are going to end up seeing and having to choose that they want to be part of that thing with them. That's just a little bit. We've probably brought more projects to market in crypto, Web3, between Consensus and Serotonin than probably any other group of people. And so we've gotten a lot of horizontal view of what works. I think a lot of builders have a great vertical view of what they're building, but we have some really great data and pattern matching over time about what works, not just for one market cycle, but sustainably over time, over that 4-year, 8-year horizon. A lot of this is written up in my book, Web3 Marketing. It's available on every major book selling platform. There's also an NFT that's free inside of each of the books that you can use to join a token-gated Telegram community, which is all Web3 marketing professionals and people building in Web3 that are interested in marketing tips. We're also hiring at Serotonin for all kinds of different roles. Please check it out if participating in any of this more directly interests you. And thank you so much. Really appreciate your having me here. It's been awesome to be in India.